Question, the member from Lanark, Frontenac, Lennox and Addington.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Deputy Premier. For 140 years, Ontario has contributed to Confederation.
Hear, hear.
We helped those provinces that envied our prosperity. Under your direction, that role has been reversed. You have not only let Ontario down, you have let Canada down. Your government is failing all of Canadians. I know that timing is everything in politics, and you fellas have the worst timing I've ever seen. Why, at this time of economic upheaval, have you chosen to pick the pockets of taxpayers and small businesses with this blended sales tax?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, first off, Mr. Speaker, we challenge members of that party who believe, as that member just said, that Ontario does not contribute to Confederation to stand in their place and say, we support these outrageous statements coming from the occasional visitor from the back bench, Mr. Speaker.
Ask the honourable member to withdraw that comment, please.
Mr. Speaker, I want to pay attention to... Yes, withdraw, Mr. Speaker. I want to pay appropriate attention. I want to acknowledge that it's Leadership Day, and from the back bench of that party does come the idea that Ontario does not contribute to Confederation. If you believe in that, then stand with him, and if you do not, then disassociate yourself from it. And the honourable member, Mr. Speaker, he talks about small businesses. The benefit to small businesses is $500 million in reduced costs as a result of not having to fill out two identical streams of paperwork. This is one example of benefits to the tune of $500 million to small businesses.
Contrast. Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, we all know that this government likes to work in the shadows. They even kept the BST tax secret from their own caucus. In another shadowy operation, their government has filed a motion to close debate on the budget, a budget that is putting Ontario deeper into the red hole of liberalism. On this side, we are proposing an amendment that would allow the constituents of your members, like Miss Sandals and Miss Mitchell, to be heard on this BST tax. Minister, will you allow members in those communities, or are your members being silenced and told to obey? Why won't you allow the people to speak to your new BST tax?
Mr. Speaker, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that some would argue that the constituents of a particular riding have more likelihood of their voices being heard by members that show up in this place and participate in the debate.
Stop the clock. I just reminded the honourable member in a previous answer regarding his reference to attendance of the member, and would just ask him to refrain from making references to attendance of members within the House. And I would ask that he withdraw the comment, please.
I do withdraw, Mr. Speaker. I do withdraw, and were I given the full opportunity, I was paying compliment, Mr. Speaker, to the extent to which those two members, which is out of order to name members by name as he did in his question, but those two members to which he referred are hard-working members and make strong representations on behalf of their constituencies in this legislature every single day. But where we have quarrel with the honourable member and with those that support him in that party is the idea that our Ontario does not contribute to Confederation. Yes, we have challenges, Mr. Speaker, and we seek to address those with unprecedented investments in infrastructure and supporting the public services that people depend upon. And he says, Mr. Speaker, we spend too much, and later on in question period, other members of that party will stand and say, please spend more. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Final supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Premier is one silver-tongued bugger, I must admit. Rather than scrap...
Just ask the honourable member to withdraw the comment that he just made, please.
Withdraw. The Deputy Premier is one silver-tongued devil, I must admit.
Look, this is not helpful to trying to maintain some decorum in the House by delivering a personal attack on both sides. I would like to add, and just ask the honourable member to be more cautious in his choice of words.
No. Rather than scrap 2 regulations for every new one as they promised, thousands of new regulations have been put on the books. The Red Tape Commission scrapped, and 2 Red Tape Reduction Acts by this side of the House have been squashed or ignored. They're adding to the regulatory burden, they're hiding their budget from the public, and they're bringing in the biggest BST tax grab. If timing is everything, why are you ramming through this BST tax and hiding from the budget from those who are most affected?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've heard similar language from people from that party, only then they were on this side when they talked about regulation, but they forgot what the implication of that was in the context of Walkerton, Mr. Speaker. We think that there are opportunities, of course, to reduce regulatory burden. There also does land on the responsibility of government, Mr. Speaker, the burden of the protection of our people. And, Mr. Speaker, much of that regulation is inclined to be able to do that. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to say to the honourable member on the issue of the tax benefits associated. 93% of the people in the province of Ontario will get a tax cut as a result of measures associated with our budget on the first $38,000 of income. An average family with $80,000 of income will see a 10% tax cut, Mr. Speaker, and the first $36,000 of income will see a 17% tax cut. 90,000 people will no longer pay taxes in the province of Ontario. These are part and parcel of a package which also dramatically enhances.
Thank you.